Good afternoon, almost everyone. You are here for an On the Menu 7 Nearpod session. And please feel free to break out your lunch, have a drink, eat along the way. That's really what this is about. It really is a lunch and learn kind of idea, but with a different title. So for those of you that don't know me, my name is Bond, Virginia Bond like James, Virginia like the state. And I work at NARIC as an ISS Integration of Technology Training Specialist. So before we get going, I'll give you a little bit about me. I live in Malone, for those of you that may know where that is. Danielle is here. I knew Danielle would come. Danielle always likes a nice chance to pop in. Hi, girl. How you doing?
I'm good. Sorry I'm late.
No, it's not a problem. I literally just started the introduction, so not a big deal. So I have taught for 33 years plus one, so 34 years. I'm an old lady. And as I kind of work through this, I live in Malone, which is north of Lake Placid by an hour, and I'm 2 miles from the Canadian border. So I always like to say to people that our NARIC region is very, very large. Kristen and Erica actually happen to be colleagues of mine, and they teach on our team as well. Erica's a tech integrator in 2 districts, and Danielle, very much like you, I think the 2 of you have met before. Danielle and Erica, and then Kristen is in the Albany region. And it's just really nice to have, you know, people here. I know, and Jen was here this morning. Jen likes it so much she came back for more. She's a glutton for punishment. So we are here to do Nearpod today. And I'm going to start with a disclaimer statement because I always have to do this. So just make sure you are checking out your district's policy on privacy and security. Anytime we use a software that's not a direct purchase or like a third party, we always need to be careful that you are making sure that you have the ability to use it. So this is one of those tools that can be used as a free account. A teacher can purchase their own account, or a district can purchase account. And I know that Jen told me that she has her own account, so a personal account that she uses. Anytime we do that, we just have to be careful that you are following the privacy agreements with for your students. Now, just to let you know that Nearpod does have a DPA, so a data privacy agreement. If you purchase directly through the school district, if your district purchased directly for Nearpod, they need to get that themselves. NARIC does sell Nearpod, which means we get the DPA for you. So you have it when you purchase through us. That's one of the benefits of purchasing through the RIC. And I'm not selling Nearpod. I just want to make sure you know that, but just so you understand. Now, Nearpod is also a really cool tool because you can use it, even a free version, and still be under Ed Law 2D compliancy. And I'm going to show that today. So I'm all done with the needles and griddles here. So we'll move on. So Nearpod is really a great tool for interactive presentations and assessments. And what it allows you to do is it allows you to move your presentation in real time. So it can be interactive. You can involve lessons, you can put in some simulations, and you can add these formative assessments very easily. Now, I have to be honest, Kristen helped me with a lot of these slides. So these slides are hers. And when she had this bullet in here, it says integrates easily with Google Slides. The first time I cringed, and I was like, because my experience has always been that it doesn't. And then last night I was watching a video and I went, go figure. You'll see my go figure moment a little later. And I was like, yep, now I agree. It does integrate easily with slides. So there's a couple little things that they've changed, which is great. It makes it much easier. So you can also use Nearpod to push assignments right to your students in classroom. You can do it that way, or you can do it on the fly. We're going to probably do both today pretty easily. And it also allows you to see graphics for engagement, and they can respond in real time. So you guys know that I tech integrate in a district, a local district, and I was working with a new teacher well, new to the district, not new to teaching. And the district is on a huge student engagement push. What district isn't on a student engagement push right now, right? How do we keep our students engaged in a remote setting? And she's in a hybrid situation. So she had half of her kids with her and half of her kids home that she was teaching at the same time. And I made the recommendation that we use Nearpod for her evaluation. After she got over the verklempt state of being like, what, you're going to ask me to use a new platform? I showed it to her. I think I gave her like a 10-minute lesson on how to use it. And I said, like, try it out for a week beforehand. So she did. And then she got really nervous. And she said, I said to her, would you like me to come in for your observation? So I'm here, like, in case anything crashes. I'm just here for technical support. She's like, yes. So absolutely no issues. She got her evaluation back the other day and she literally got 4s on everything. And it was because Nearpod allows her and the administration to see engagement because it can get statistics back. So that's a huge benefit. Great tool. And you'll see a lot of people have asked, like, what's the one tool you can't live without in a remote situation? We're hearing like 3 things: Nearpod, Pear Deck, 4 things, Flipgrid, and some kind of screen recorder. So it's either Screencastify, Screencast-O-Matic, or WeVideo. One of those are the ones that they're like, they can't live without. Now, Nearpod and Pear Deck are pretty much the same thing, and Flipgrid kind of fits in there. They all kind of fit in the same little bucket. So it's nice to know that this has really been such a strong tool. So how do you get there? The first thing we do is you go to Nearpod. So I'm actually going to close out of this. And I'm hoping that I'm going to remember what I have 2 accounts I'm going to use today. So I'm going to go to nearpod.com and I'm going to log in. Nearpod.com. So it comes in like this. So as soon as I get in, I get that main screen that looks like this. I love you guys, but I'm moving away from the presentation. I know you're in it, so I'm just going to follow it for myself and you can have it there. So once you're in here, all I have to do, if you haven't ever used it before, you're going to sign up for free. If you've used it before, you can sign up here. You can also sign up here, or you can log in here. It just depends on what you're used to. I am very much go to the top right and log in kind of girl. It's just the way I roll. So then when you come in the first time, it'll say, how do you want to log in? I am also keep it simple, stupid kind of person. I am a Google girl. I don't want to remember one more login. So here I am going to log in and it's going to say to me, Virginia, which of your 85 million Google accounts do you want to log in with? And I'm going to say this one. You know what, Erica, the best thing about getting a new laptop is that it wipes out all your Google accounts when you come in. So you have to put them all back in, which is not a bad thing. So instead of those 40 that I had, I'm down back to 3, which I kind of love. Okay, so it's going to log me in, and here I am in the main part. So this is what it looks like when you first log in. So obviously I am in, this is a free account, okay? So this right now is a free account that I'm in, and you can see that the layout is pretty simple. We have a sidebar. We have the ability to search. We have some create options. And we have a couple different options up here along with my levels. So this is a silver, which is a free paid version. And I am going to also say, and Chris, I'm going to come back to yours in just a minute. When you log in the first time, and I'm going to slide this back over. If you log in with a woo, when you log in, if you log in with a school account, it looks like this. You have more options on the side. So this is a school/district paid account where you end up getting a school library. I love this. Kristen, did you build that sub-plans folder yourself? So you can build a sub-plan folder, which is like, hey, the world's best idea for sub plans because they can just follow along and you can put in a sub can't even screw this up. Yeah, that's not true, but they can. And, you know, I'm trying to be hopeful there, right? So you can also have a school library, which is along the same lines as Edpuzzle. When you create something, it drops into the school library. So same thing in Edpuzzle. When you create an Edpuzzle, it drops into your school library, which is nice. So Like if you have a teacher that you co-teach with, or if you have a teacher like a large enough school, they have 2 biology teachers and one finds a great thing, you can then just come in and add right to that. It can be a great benefit for many people. So I'm going to move that presentation right out of the way. Okay. So so that was a school account. And then when you log in with a free account, it looks like this. And I did give you both screenshots to that so you could see them. There's just a little difference in them. Not much. You guys hear somebody popping in and out? I'm just hoping somebody's not having technical issues, and I don't know if it's me. I don't think so.
It might have just been me because I turned my video back on.
Oh, well, there you go. You're forgiven. We don't care. Okay, so we're going to start with create because I feel like we're going to do this. We're just going to make some. I was going to make them and get them all preset for you. And I was like, yeah, no, we're going to show you how to make them because that's what this course is all about. So you're going to come in, we're going to create. So you have 3 options. You can create a lesson. You can create a video. And notice it says combine videos with built-in questions, which really, if the truth be told, that's Edpuzzle. So like if you're a district that purchases Nearpod and Edpuzzle, why are you doing that, right? Why are you using both? Why are you purchasing both? And I just like, I kind of had an aha moment because the district that I tech integrate in is using both. And I'm like, well, why? Like, why did you purchase both? If this will do both things, stop buying too much stuff that you don't need. Use it to its fullest. I don't think they use it till its fullest. That's an understatement. And then the last one is create lessons in Google Slides. So we're going to start with the lesson one. We're just going to create a lesson. So here we go. My lesson's going to pop up. There it is. Okay, so the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to title it My Nearpod Peepers. I don't know what to call it. I got no ideas today. Okay, so when I'm in here, I have 2 kinds of options. I have content and I have activities. So let's just look at what's in here. So here's my content. I took 2 screenshots of these. What are the kinds of things I can add in? I can add in video. Well, let's give that a gander, right? Let's add in a video. So you click video and it says, ooh, you want to create video. You can create your own interactive, start with one of your own, upload your own, or search YouTube. What? So you can do them all. So what's nice about this, which is kind of a little different than Edpuzzle, like an UPA game. I hate to be throwing Edpuzzle under the bus, but you can't create directly within Edpuzzle, right? You can't record. You have to record something and bring it in. Whereas with Nearpod, you can record directly within it. So that's a kind of a bonus. Okay, so let's do this. And let's not recreate the wheel. Okay, but let's go to YouTube. I lied. I say I don't want to recreate the wheel. So you notice this looks like almost every other time you look for something. So we're just going to look for a TED Talk, right? Here it's, oh, here, this one's perfect. I've used this so many times. Inside the mind of a master procrastinator. That would be me, right? So I'm going to double click that and then I'm going to come to the bottom and I'm going to say save. Biggest button you can remember is the save button. Kristen, when you go down through the slide deck, you'll see that it's got a big thing that says stop, click it, and save in red, right? Yesterday we were working on this because the last time that I have used Nearpod is probably like 4 years, maybe 2 years ago. So she gave me a little like remember, and she kept saying, go save it. And I'd go, she'd go save it. And I was like, geez. I don't ever feel like I need to save things, but that is very much because you're saving within a platform. That's like the big thing to remember. When you're saving in a platform like this, you got to save it. So I could go through, right? And I could work my way through. I could play it, whatever I needed to, and I'm just going to save it. I don't need to do anything, but you do notice it also has an editor in there. I went really fast. There's a trim option in there. So if I only need to show a small snippet of it, I can. So I don't need to show the whole thing. I worked on this yesterday. It was a little faster. I also wasn't trying to run video in like 4 different slides going at the same time. So it's all good. So there's my video first. So this might be the thing I show them first. And then maybe I want to ask them a question after they watch the video. So I'm going to now go back in. Instead of content, I'm going to add an activity. And I'm going to add an open-ended question. So when I come in and click on open-ended question, I can type my question in here. What are the 3 main ideas from the master procrastinator video? Okay, perfect, super. You also notice you can add a picture, right? You can add picture, you can add audio, I could do all that. So I'm going to also take this and I'm going to make it a little larger. I'm going to also make it bold right there. I'm going to make the whole thing, I'm going to highlight the whole thing, make it a little larger. Now that's pretty easy. I think all of that is super intuitive, right? Nothing in here is mind-boggling, although the math tools are pretty mind-boggling to me, because that you can come in and do all those math equation components in here. So a math teacher can come in and do some of those pieces. You can add a timer. So if I want to give my students like 2 minutes to add this, so I really know what they're talking about, I can put that in there. Pretty easy. I also can enable so my students can do an audio recording. Say what? So that's that Flipgrid part. I can make it like this. I can turn that on. And if Erica hates to type, this is so not true. If Erica hates to type, but she would rather do an audio, she can do that, which is nice because we're putting some choice and voice in there for our students. That's been a really strange thing that I found in the last like 18 months. Kids who literally love Snapchat and Instagram hate to be seen on screen. It's the weirdest thing. And so, but this is audio, not video. So it is a nice component. All right. So again, when I'm done, I'm going to save it down at the bottom. So now I have a video first, and then I have an open-ended question. Let's just make another one. So what are some of the other content ones in there? I can put in web content. I can pull in a Nearpod 3D. So I think a lot of districts purchase Nearpod through their library system. So through their library services, because it has come with like a library, a database. So you always check with your library and see if they have it. You'd be shocked at the districts that have it through library, just a different funding situation. Can also put in a PhET simulation. It's kind of cool, right? So you can kind of go through and students can play with these. I am not going to pretend I know how to do any of these, just letting you know. So there's the PhET simulation. What's another thing that we can put in? Can actually put a slideshow in. You can put just audio in, but let's look at the activities. So this time to climb is a really nice activity because you can ask a couple questions. It's a race to the top. It's very Kahoot-like in the way students choose an avatar, and then I'll just set it up so you can see, you can ask a couple questions in it. You put your questions in, they race to the top. I so totally lied. I'm not writing any questions. I'm going to use what's already in there, right? Here's the questions that are in there. Students will go in and put their answers, which is Asia, right? So there's the first question. And you could kind of totally mix it up. It's a really fun way to build some pieces. And let's do one more of these. So we'll add another one in there, right? And there's another one. So now I have 12 questions. See them all? Look at that. That's the math one. So there's a math one. They will get points. They'll climb the hill by correct and speed. So correct and speed. It's a nice way to do some math facts with students in there. So I'm all done with that. Guess what I have to do? I have to save it. To stop, click, and save it. I know that's why it's red. Stop. I wanted it to be stop, drop, and roll, but I didn't really have that option. Okay, so what are some of the other options? This takes a little longer because it's pulling in those pieces. Kids pick an avatar when they come in, and then you ask the questions, and they move up the hill, and they get points at the end. So it's kind of a neat way, and you get to guide those questions. So let's look at one more. What's another option that's in there? You can, for activities, you actually have a collaborate board, which is nice. You can also, Flipgrid is in there. You can make a quiz. You can do memory tests. So memory, can also do matching, which is great for vocabulary. Can also do some straight up polls. So lots of options in here to push some real-time assessment to your students. So the question the other day was, can I move things? Sure can. I can move things around like this, which is great. Now, can I drag and drop a file in here? So now it's going to get messy. So I'm going to do one. Can I drag a file? So I'm going to upload a file. Gosh only knows what I'm going to upload. But so when I go to do that, I can pull from wherever I want, right? So I can go to Dropbox. I can go to Drive. I can go to Dropbox. Nice job. I can upload. I can go to Drive, and I can also go to OneDrive. Hey, listen, I didn't say I was smart. Let's upload. Let's grab one here. I'm going to go to my desktop. I got lots of stuff in here. Let's grab that. Okay. So this says, do you want to upload it as an individual slide, or do you want to create a PDF viewer? I'm going to put it on an individual slide. This is like a 24-page document or whatever. It's actually just going to add it in. So it's a really nice way. And it does say, like, you got to wait, right? So you can put in PowerPoints, images, PDFs, slide decks, any of those things. And let's do one more because I think that's probably still going. I think you can do 2 at a time. We'll see what happens. Let's see if Virginia can break it. Right? So as soon as a new window will open automatically. The one thing I really do like about Nearpod that I think they've done well is that they've made it so they give you prompts like, hey, calm down, don't worry about it. You're going to get there. I'm going to stop my screen, guys, because I'm going to tell you what, I am really choppy. I'm not going to stop my screen. I'm going to stop my video. I think I'm breaking it. So I will come back in a few minutes. So once I'm in here, you can see that I can pull in anything. So let's pull this presentation in, and I'm going to select it. So this is the presentation I just worked on, and you see what it did. It pulled every one of those slides into an individual slide from that PDF, right? How nice is that, really, when you think about it? For those, remember those math teachers like 6 months ago, 8 months ago, they were like, I got a worksheet, now what do I do, right? They didn't know how to, they didn't have an idea of how to get it here, so this is a different way. ELA teachers prepping for an exam, social studies teachers wanting to put some content in there. So they actually could put a PDF of content up, have the students read it, and then ask them questions in the next slide with either a collaborate board, multiple choice, open-ended question, any of those options. So, and I also added my slide deck. So what's nice about this is I can take my questions and I can move them around. Here's one of my big yanks. And this is me personally, not a bad way. I'm going to add an activity. So I'm just going to add a draw it board, right? So I just want to draw it board. I don't even think I need anything on it. It's going to open up. There we go. And I'm going to save it because I don't want to write anything on it yet. I'm just going to leave it there. I could draw it. So I created it at the top. And what it does is it feeds to the bottom. Now, Kristen was so sweet, and she goes to me, well, that makes sense, Virginia. And I was like, no, it doesn't. I created it at the top. I wanted it to stay at the top. So it just took me some time getting used to it. I created it at the top. So the first time I worked in Nearpod, I made the same stinking slide 6 times because I was making it and not thinking to go to the bottom, right? It's fine. It's fine. So, but you can, once they're made, you can click and draw them. I mean, you can click and move them all around. I saw draw and I moved that. So you can also delete. You can also delete slides once you have them going. You can copy a slide. A really nice trick that I heard from a teacher the other day. She's using Nearpods for some of her book studies. So she's got 4 book groups going on right now. And what she did is she used the same exact prompt for all the students. She just copied the entire deck. And when she was done with it, she just changed that one piece, but you can also copy a slide. So if you want to change just the question, just the wording of the question, you have that. You can paste it, you convert to a draw. So it's all pretty simple. You have to save every slide that you work on, and you have to save the deck. Okay, so there. That's everything I can possibly think about having to save something. So it's all done. A couple tips as you're working. As you're kind of working through and we go I'm going to show you how to look at this now. As you go through and work on one, a couple of things that can be helpful is, I don't have this slide in the right place. You can use 2 tabs. So one for your responses and one for student responses. If you want to do that, that's helpful. And when we look and share things, you'll be able to see some things. We're going to use this Nearpodist of Nearpods. And I am going to share this now. So I've got everything made. And now what I want to do is I want to share it with my kids. Like I want to push it to someone. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to take this collaborate board right here, highlight this one right here. That's a quick launch. We're going to come to that next. This board right here, and I have options. So Nearpod has obviously partnered with Zoom, right? Because you can push it right to Zoom. Notice that's in beta. Doesn't work unless you have a Zoom, so don't get too excited. Like I have a Zoom account. So the district that I have my other account in is a Zoom district. So we use that. We found it didn't always work. So just so you know, I was like, okay, it didn't do much for me. So live participation. So it's teacher led. Teacher's going to lead the instruction. I want you all on slide 1. You're all going to stay on slide 1 with me. When I move to slide 2, you are also going to move to slide 2. This is great if you have little duffers who take off. Now, if you can totally trust your little duffers, you can put them on student paced. And I think student paced is going to work better in an environment when we're all like in the same room together, right? And so student paced is also good if you're going to give it to your students afterwards so they can practice on it later, or you're in an asynchronous mode with your students. So those are options. We're going to use live participation right now. All right, you can only have one. Okay, so resume this one. I must have 2 going at the same time. So that's my free thing. You can only have 1. So now what you're going to do, I'm going to have you guys go to join.nearpod.com, which I just typed in the chat. So you'll see right here, it says at the top, join at join.nearpod.com. And then when you get that to pop up, you will type in that as well. You're going to type in 8D, and I am also going to do it. This is like the second tab for teachers. Also works on a phone, right? So I've done a lot of these at like conferences where I just do it on my phone without the app, nothing fancy. I just kind of do it on the fly. And you just type in your code. It is not case specific. As soon as you start to type, it's going to go to capital letters.
Virginia,
Yes.
you could also see on the left underneath the 8, you have that paper clip for copy link. What
Yes.
I've done is I will click on that copy link and then I post that and it'll post the direct link right in the chat for you.
Oh, look at you, girl. Thank you.
Yeah, sure.
It's great. And that's a great option. You also can just push these to Google Classroom. The remind thing freaks me out. So I just have to say that to you because it's just like, I'm like, oh. And I do know we have districts using Remind with their kids, but it's just, and you can also push it through Microsoft Teams. And Kristen, yeah, I'm not going to throw anybody on the bus. I don't mean throw you under the bus. I'm not going to throw a company under the bus. So we'll just leave it there. So I'm going to join. Okay. So either one of you can join the link or you can go that way. Perfect. So once you're in, it asks for your name. Now, if you're going to do this with your students and they don't have accounts, so when the first time they come in, they would get an option that basically would give them, excuse me, if they were in Google Classroom, they could join with their Google account, which is a great way to do it if you have a district that's purchased the license. If you haven't purchased the license, can you come up with a naming convention that your students can use that doesn't require them to log in? They are not logging in on this screen, and you can see it. It says join the lesson. It does not say log in. So they can totally use their names, right? So I'm just gonna like put VBond, right? That's what I'm gonna join is I'm gonna join the name. I'm gonna join. You also notice you have name and other optional name, right? So I'm gonna join the lesson. So you will notice, okay, I'm gonna close that the first one in here is, look at this, you guys are all done. What is the expertise that you've had? You've already done the first one. So I did it with a poll. So simple, right? And I'm going to use, okay, yeah, nobody took the move over. Jen, I'm glad you took the move over bond. Let me show you how. Good girl, right? Thank you. Now what I can do is I can do this and I can share. And the minute I do that, you saw the screen I'm on, I push the share button and this is what you guys get, right? So this is me having two screens open at the same time, not two browsers, just two tabs. I have my teacher tab that I've logged in with. And then what I did is I just logged in as me on the student tab. I don't have to answer anything, right? I could just keep it just the way it is. And I do really like that. So I can also do this. I can hide student names. Ooh, see what it did there? It hides the student names. If I show the student names, it doesn't show over here in a poll, right? So it's pretty easy. It shows me, here's my percentages. And like if I was with students, I'd say to the camp, oh, what do you think those numbers are, right? Because really, a really nice start right here is when we show data like this to our students who plan to go to college and need to take an ACT or an SAT need to be able to read data. This is a very simple way to teach data to kids. So teachers freak out when I say that to them. So unless you're teaching kids how to read data, and most teachers are not, they do it like once in 3rd grade and once in 4th grade, so they can read that graph for the state exam. They don't do it ever again. But not only do students have to read the data, they have to analyze what it says. So what does that mean to you? Why would most people be here? That's because I've got like 20%, like 40% in that middle section, or 60%. Used it a few times. I want a couple ideas. So it's just like, what does that mean? That's why people would attend a training. So they have to make an extrapolation from that data. Okay, so that's just one of those things. So you can see I am in you can see on my slide deck where I am, and I'm going to use the arrow to go to the next slide, right? So, okay, what I want you to do is I want you to match. This is totally off topic. And so, Tara, if you don't do well, I'm really okay with it. Okay, so go ahead. I have never heard of gravitropism. And please don't think I made that on my own. I so totally did not. Okay, some of you are way better at that than I am. Woo, Nelly! Okay, so done. Awesome. Got it. All right. So what I can do is I can show the pairs. So here's the pairs that they are, right? That's what it looks like. And I also can see how you all did. So you see my statistics there, right? Took me 9 times to go through it to get them all right. So it's really nice because it does give you that statistics to know how students are doing as they're taking it. And I can also do it like this, right? I can hide those names again, and I can actually show that, like, that's just stuff I need for me. But if I wanted my students to see it, I would also have the option if I wanted to. All right, so let's continue. I'm going to use, I don't think I made any more than that. So what if I want to do something on the fly? I can add an activity. And right here, let's say I want to do a draw a flower. Sure. Okay. So there you go. I want you guys to draw a flower. So you can still even do that. You're in a session and you decide you want to see something. I'm going to show my student name so I can see who the artists are in the room, right? As you go. Because it can make that much more specific where it was along the lines, show all the pieces. Some of you are smart Alex and you did not draw a flower, you inserted a flower, which is the wrong thing to do, right? But I do know who those two are. So they're the smart Alex in the room who decided they're going to like take over, but it's okay. But you know, this is a good way to show learning. So if you're working on something and you need somebody to go through, you could say, all right, I want you to go in and show the things, and then I want you to label them. So I want you to label the parts of a flower, draw it, and then label it. And I know this is kind of low level, but this is really important to get that content. It's a great way to do an exit ticket with kids as well, because once you start to do that, they have the ability to pull that content back, and they're actually analyzing and showing that content back to you. All right, so they can put in pictures, they can erase, all those different things. Fantastic. And I can close the activity. So, and I basically just took you guys out of it, right? That's a great, because basically the teacher's back in control of the situation. All right, so very, very simple. All right, I'm going to come out of that. And do you want to leave the session? Yes, I want to leave the session. So I'm all out, all good. Pretty simple. All right, let me show you some of the other things you can do in this. So that's easy enough, right? Nothing, probably not anything new. I love the ability to go in and kind of do it on the fly, which I think is fantastic. So I also went through all that. Okay. Can you create on the fly? You sure can. It's called a quick launch. So you're Virginia, you go to class and, you know, you stayed up late for Cinco de Mayo and you decided to not prepare lesson plans for tomorrow, right? Because you decided to just wing it. Because I'm so old, I can just wing it. I've been at it for so long. So I want to create something that's a little different. Let's say I want to create a collaborate board. And I say, Cinco de Mayo, how do you celebrate? Okay, keep these school related, okay? Just saying. I'm all done. I'm going to stay with that one. I'm going to quick launch it. Just like before. It's going to bring up my little board. It's going to pop out to me. I'm going to copy the link this time, throw it right into the chat because Jen is the bomb. And there you go. So once you're in it, and I'm going to close that. John is the bomb. Rattan to check. Wow. I've got, listen, this does not love me. All right. So you are in it. Would you like to approve? So I love this, and I'm going to say yes. So I'm going to be able to catch my little stinkers in the room that are not school appropriate. And I want someone to not be school appropriate, Erica. Okay. Yeah. Okay. No, it is good for you to see that. So they will come up in here as they come through. So feel free to answer once you're in. Yep. And this little box will come through. I do kind of love this option to be able to do that. Here we go. I'm sure this is going to be a good one. Eat tacos. Yay! Mine's going to be have margaritas. That's going to be my night tonight. Very nice. Danielle, were you a Spanish teacher? No. Okay. And you can see as they come in, right? So this one came through. Okay, that one I did definitely eating tacos. Yes, students can do it more than once. Oh yeah, that looks good. Trying to find Mexican food in Malone is not easy, right? So I told the girls. So Erica did do this stuff and things. I can think of non-school appropriate things to put in there. But you could have a swear word come in. I could say no to her comment, right? So I could just click the X and it disappears and her comment doesn't make it. I can also do this. So Erica, just send in something else. I don't care what. So as it comes in, I can also hide all your names so they can't be seen, right? So anybody can put something in. When they come in like this, I can't eat, right? And I can put that in there, right? Like that. So it's nice. And then you guys can upvote it. So on your screen, right, you can upvote them as well. Oh, look at Kristen. We talked about that last night, right? It was supposed to stay white on ours. If I vote on it, it turns red on my screen. That's interesting because I don't think it looked like that before. That's a nice little update. So you can also I can add pictures in here as we go, right? It's pretty simple. I think it's a nice way, and it's a great way for a teacher to be able to do like a quick assessment. So you also can do likes. You can also do by the time it takes. Ooh, so it kind of resorts them while you're in there. You could put your kids on the timer if you want to. I think that was an option as we went through. Always look for the timer. That's always good because you can keep your kids going. All right, so I'm going to show student names again. And you can turn those on and off so that there's not a problem with that. If you think students have that kind of concern. Oh, E is just, she's a problem child. I can tell. I like to party. Let me, oh, there we go. That's the one we want. That one's not allowed on, right? So perfect. Thanks, Erica. I love it, right? Did you just make that or did you have that before? You had that. Okay, that's good. I was like, I coined that phrase in front of like 300 people once. I was asked to do a presentation on data privacy and I was like, what? And I said, okay, don't know, ask your DPO. And I must have said it like 300 times. They could tell it back to me by the time I was done. And I was like, yes, that's the best answer. All right. So it's pretty easy. I love the quick launch. I love that ability to kind of go on the fly and do things on the fly because you don't always know what you need. And sometimes you just need to do some super explanation a little bit more. You can also do a whiteboard like this. So the teacher can have a whiteboard and then can just grab it and work from here. So if you're in a Nearpod lesson, you don't necessarily have to go grab you don't have to go grab a Jamboard to be able to have a whiteboard. Doesn't have stickies, okay? So that's like a downtrod for me, but it does have more colors. Okay, so, right? And if you just need it while you're here, so this is more like a real teacher whiteboard. It has a lot less options. You can also lock them. You can garbage them when you're done, garbage them. Trash them, garbage them when you're done. Listen, you know, whatever. Strangest thing for me is you actually have to close it, right? I don't know why. I always like to say when you're in programs like this, you just kind of have to go with it because more than one programmer worked on it. So sometimes it's just a little bit of a foible on it that kind of like, you're like, all right, whatever. All right, next one. So extras. What are some of the extras in there? So let's talk about if I go back out. Do you want to leave this session? Yes, I want to leave this session. Let me show you a couple of the other really cool things. I'm actually going to I'm going to leave Nearpod because I'm going to log back into it in another account, nearpod.com, and I'm going to log in with my, please tell me you logged out. Of course you did not. I'm going to log out. And I'm going to log back in with my other account so that I want you to see a school account with a gold session. So I'm going to log in right there. All right, so one of the benefits of being in one of these is there's a few different things you can do, like this one. The reason that I hated Nearpod in the past was that I made my slides and at that time I had a lot of time, I guess, and I had my slides, like my bullets come in one at a time. And when you bring a slide into Nearpod, that functionality disappears because it just becomes a straight up shot, an image of your slide deck. So I was kind of like, I don't like that. And that's one of the reasons I never really wanted to use a slide deck, but they've done something better. So there are two ways that you can use Nearpod, and I think this is one of the best ways. You can build right within. This is, I think, better. So this is a slide deck that I had that I opened, and you'll notice that right here on slide 7, I have a Nearpod slide. Okay, how'd you do that, Bond? Like, what's that magic voodoo that you did? So there's an add-on. You can go to add-on and you can go to Nearpod and it will open. Now, so Jen, I'm going to make you not so happy. You have to purchase it or you have to, well, you do purchase it, but I think this is for district accounts more than anything else. You have to, even I did with this one, because I'm using a district account, but I haven't linked it to the district. Does that make sense, right? I haven't linked it to the district. Because of that, I had to use like a 30-day promo code. I'm okay with that for when I need it. So what I can do, yes.
It's an add-on in slides. Is that what you said?
It's on in slides. So you go into slides and that's in the deck. We did put that in there. So it's on add-ons and you go into slides and that's how you'll get access to it. And then it'll open up in the sidebar. So when I come in here, these are what I can pull in, right? I can pull all of these things in here. So let's say after this one, I am going to enter a poll. And it's going to say, okay, what do you want to do? And I'm just going to say, what's your favorite Google tool? I could see me using this a lot more now that it's like this. because I find construction of what I want for slides within Nearpod to be slow. You can build in slides, but I have decks that are ready to go that I'd like to put some formative assessments directly into. So this for me will be a better option, right? And I picked it. I don't have a right answer. You can have anything. Add an answer. So I'm going to say keep. Keep should always be your favorite tool, right? And I got most people go like, what? There'll be nothing for sheets. Okay, so I just save it. Nobody will ever save sheets. Yeah, only in the school accounts. That's what I figured. Yep. So, yeah. So when you're in here, then you get something that looks like this, right? There it is. So when I push this out, I could be going along teaching in this, and if people were following along, and boom, that would go to them and they would have it automatically. It's a really nice feature, and I love that option. Now, it also has this note up here. Nearpod slides cannot be copied and pasted, so I can't take it from one place to another. As in, I can't move it from here. So you can try it all you want. It's not going to go. Oh, I think they lied to me. Look at that. I just did it. Huh. So it can't be copied and pasted, but Virginia just hacked her way around that. So I didn't copy and paste it this way. It still has an option. I bet you it just doesn't work when you go that way. So it's probably there, but doesn't work. So you have all the same ability to pull in all those tools that you had before, which is really cool. Okay, so we're out of that. That's like the main one, that you can add them into decks. I think teachers that have established decks would really like that. So you don't have to recreate the wheel. So it's nice for in a school account. I am so proud of myself that I just closed the entire thing. You are such a grown up, Virginia. Okay. All right, so let's look at like sharing. So I'm all in here, I'm all done. Let's get out of that. And I'm in as a student. So, all right, so I'm in my account. Let's say I want to actually find some stuff that I want to use. One of my quick tricks for anybody using a new platform is, hey, use the stuff that's already made, right? Because it's a great way for you to see the functionality of the platform, and it's a great way to be able to find some things. So there's two ways to do this. You can actually go to nearpod.com, and you can type in resources. It'll take you there. And by the way, if you just do this for almost any product, it's going to take you to the right place. Name of the product / resources. Like, you guys are all pretty sufficient and don't need to be taught how to fish, but a lot of our teachers do. And Danielle, I'm sure she's going to start shaking her head, right? They need that ability to find stuff on their own. Really don't need me for that. I promise you can do that on your own. So that's a nice thing to know that you can do. You can come into the library, and this is where the library pops up. And this is like, wow, right? When you're in here, there are so many great things in here. I was going to give you some time to look around, but I'm going to take that back. I'm not going to. Anytime you search for something within a platform like this, don't limit yourself by the grades. So people like, well, I only teach kindergarten, so I only need kindergarten options. Okay, no, don't do that. Because there's a lot of times you can pull things that are different grade levels that may not look it's the same thing. Now, I was kind of impressed because they have racial justice in here. My daughter just told me that it's National Physical Fitness and Sports Month. Woo-hoo. I then told her it was Mental Health Month, so she needed to stop beating me up. Right? So you can come into that and you can look, I clicked on Mental Health Month. Here are all the resources that are available to teachers for some mental health lessons, right? So let's look at like life skills in kindergarten, K2. When you come in here, and here's some of the related content. Like you can preview, and then when you add it to your lessons, I'm just going to add that into my lessons. So simple. And when I come back out here, when I go into my lessons, this is going to show up and I'll be able to share it. It basically takes it. It's kind of like a library card. Like, hey, you want this one? You can have it. It swipes it, but it gives you your own copy. And it throws you into your stuff, and then you can actually make changes to it as well. And I think it's just a great idea to use some of the resources that exist. You can see there it is, see your growth right there. And then everything else is exactly the same. I can edit it, right? You can edit a downloaded lesson. All you got to do is if you stop and read the pop-ups, you'll know exactly what to do, right? Do I want to edit it or do I want to duplicate it? I might want to edit it and maybe change some of the vocabulary in it, but I have the ability to do that. So there's so many things in here. This is a nice piece. There's a whole Cinco de Mayo souvenir. Ooh, National Space Day is on Friday. Go figure, right? Some nice pieces in here if you want to teach about Ramadan. Might be like, I know where we live in the North Country, teaching Ramadan. I don't know of too many teachers that have enough information in their hip pocket to teach on Ramadan. There's probably enough in there. That's something we can at least start with. So there's lots of options in here. These change all the time. There's some different activities that you can come in. Look at, there's a whole set of matching pairs already built. Those time and climb, those are some that are already built, right? There's 78 lessons in K2. So these are even just great like reviews for teachers to use at the beginning of their lesson. It's a great, engager, kind of grab them right off the bat. Simple, and you can also sort by lessons, videos, or just activities. Okay, I am not above using somebody else's stuff, right? Because obviously other people have more time than I do, and I'm not too proud to say that. Teacher resources. And sometimes when teachers know that they have access to that, they just are like, say what, right? That's always, you say that to teachers. This is a great time of year to use Nearpod too. If teachers have never used it, talk about like amping up your engagement pretty easily. So you come in here and you can then also there's some training. So I went into the teacher resources right off your main page. You can come in, they have live webinars, and Kristen, correct me if I'm wrong, they have some every week, right? Yes, every week. You can also look by month. So you can see, you can get the whole calendar if you want that. So like Nearpod, they do a nice job of doing things after hours. You'll see that there's vocabulary pieces in here. That's because Nearpod bought vocabulary. Those two accounts they cannot be linked. Don't get excited. Okay, just because you have vocabulary, you can't have Nearpod. They are different things. They also have a full library. They have how-tos down here. This is like you can come in here and you can just ask a question. You can go, there's their blogs. One of the things that I found to be super helpful, I don't know what you guys watch for YouTube videos. I am such an incredible dork that Pocket Full of Primary is one of my favorite people to see. I just like the way she teaches. It's got a nice couple. So you literally can come up here and type in Nearpod tutorial, and you want to go for a latest and greatest. So don't do like the 18s and 19s and 20. You want to stay in a 21. You want to make sure it's been done within the last couple of months, because you're always going to get the latest and greatest. So here's a good one, right? 3 months ago, it even says updates in it. This is another great one. New Ed Tech. He is the most dry person when he trains, but then you see him teach and you're like, holy jamoli, you're like a different person. But I super love his trainings because I double him up on speed. I speed him up and he goes twice as fast and he sounds like a chipmunk, but I get through his stuff faster, but his stuff is always great. Really good content. I know, now you know all my tricks. So I think I am through pretty much all of the slides. Sharing. Oh, I like. So if you find something you love and you want to share it, hit the 3 dots and I'm going to just share with teachers. You also can export it to a PDF. All kinds of things. You have options, right? You can share it with your friends. Like, Erica, you're doing this right now. You need this ticket, right? Also, reports. So I am fluffing over this because, sorry, I'm just fluffing over it. We didn't do anything in this option in here, but in reports, you'll have like the Nearpod that we went in. It'll give us like data reports on how they did, including their activity and engagement. And that's really good. So Johnny comes to class every day, but Johnny's not really doing anything. and mom says that Johnny's in class, isn't participating, and you're like, yeah, bull pucky, right? So you pull it up and you pull up the post session, and yeah, Johnny logs into the Nearpod, but does no work in it. You've got that backup proof for yourself. It's a really nice little sneaky trick that they don't know that can, kids don't know, but you do know that can happen. Okay, questions. I'm gonna stop sharing. Kristen is really our, I would say, more of a Nearpod guru than I am. She's been using it longer. When Kristen came onto our agency, everybody that applies for a job at NARIC in our division has to do a lesson plan. And she did a lesson plan in Nearpod. It was fabulous. And it was like, I was like, oh, that one was great. It was really good. And it was simple, but it was like a repetitive skill for kids to teach the kids how to do something. And that's really okay. It's a great way to teach kids a skill over and over and over again and have them do it the same way, because it's not boring. They can change it. The ability to, you can put your own video in, you can put somebody else's video. There's so many things you can do. Just really like use a tool. This is a nice tool. It has a lot of capabilities and can go really, really deep, really easily. Okay, so you have my contact information. It's on the last slide. You always know that you can reach out no matter what. Later today, you will get a link to the session, the video, the link to the slide deck, and there will be a form there. You don't have to fill out because you were here live. Woo-hoo! Always good. So feel free to have a great rest of the day. I'm going to stop record right now.